Hi, I'm Stacy, and today I'll be talking about Fiji. Fiji is a country in the South Pacific. It is consisted of 333 islands, and the two biggest ones are Viti Levu and Vanuatu. Now, Viti Levu has 75% of the population. It is also home to Suva, which is Fiji's capital. So now, focusing on the people of Fiji, um, what type of people live in Fiji? So to answer that, 53% of the population is Fijian. And so when I say that they're Fijian, they are a part of the Melanesian group. And, they look specifically different from those from the Polynesian group because they have dark skin, thicker um, and frizzier hair, and also they have a very voluptuous figure. Um, but also, aside from the 53% being Fijians, we also have 43% of the population being Indian. Um, and we also have Chinese and as well as Caucasians. And when I say Caucasians, I'm meaning Caucasians from surrounding countries, such as Australia and New Zealand. So, going on to the history, a long time ago, Fijians lived in tribes. Now, when they lived in tribes, each tribe had a head, so a head chief, and that head chief was responsible for telling them what to do, and what their responsibilities were as a group. Um, Now, also in these tribes, they practiced many rituals. One of these rituals being cannibalism. So basically, when an uninvited stranger showed up to their land, these villagers would go and um, and consume that person. Now, cannibalism was practiced up until the year 1845 with the arrival of the British. Now, the British people, first of all, have a big part in Fijian history. For one, they actually ruled Fiji up until the year 1970 when Fiji gained independence from the UK, from England. Now, like I was saying, with the arrival of the British, they brought their language, they brought their religion, and they brought Indian slaves. Now, with 43% of the population being Indians, this will play a role as the British brought Indians in order to work on the sugar mill farms because Fiji has a big sugar industry. They have a lot of sugar cane, so that's why these Indians are here. So, after some time of British rule, like I said, Fiji will gain the independence from them in the year 1970. And post British rule, the tourism spikes up with with hotels being built, resorts on places such as Denner Island. They'll also open restaurants and shopping malls, all catered to the tourists and people who come to Fiji. Now, unfortunately, the tourism died down in the year that Fiji had three coups. So yeah, Fiji had three coups, two in 1987 and one in the year 2000. So starting off with the coup in 1987, or should I say the coups? So they happened as a result of the Fijians wanting to overthrow their government. Fijians have always wanted a democratic government, but they didn't exactly get that. So they were enraged, and it caused a lot of tension, a lot of violence in the country, and that dangerously affected the economy because there weren't any people wanting to come into Fiji because of the coup. So Fijian economy suffered a lot from that. Today, it's a lot more different because tourists have started to come back to Fiji after the coups, of course. And now it's a flourishing country where people come for holidays, for honeymoons, or just for family time. So yeah, it's definitely improved today. And I want to jump on to my next point, which is the film. So we were supposed to do this for our project. So I watched Fiji on the National Geographic Channel, and I have learned a lot about Fijians' history. And it said some very similar things as I did in the PowerPoint. One being that Fiji was a cannibalistic country, and also that they emphasized climate change in this documentary. So they were saying things such as, Fiji made such huge living on plants and animals that, when the weather started to change, you know, people can get to their resources. They can buy plants for health, or animals to consume, of course. Another thing that it talked about was the people in Fiji and how they are the nicest people that you will meet because they they want to create this open environment where everyone feels accepted, and they will generally encourage each other to be kind to one another, which is one of the biggest things I got from this documentary. So that was pretty cool. Another thing that we were supposed to do for this project was cultural immersion. And many of you may or may not know this, but I went to Fiji for 7 weeks to work in a Fijian kindergarten. So in my 7 weeks of being there, I was really lucky to have gone to two events, Fiji Day and Diwali. So starting off with Fiji Day, it's a public holiday, of course, so schools have the day off. And Fiji Day celebrates the independence of Fiji becoming apart from Britain. So on Fiji Day, people celebrate by eating lovo, and lovo is underground cooked food, which is very delicious. And they will sing their national anthem as a result of feeling a sense of pride for their country. But they also sing traditional Fijian songs as well. They'll dance and they'll have family over and just overall have a really good time and enjoy their day off. Yeah, another one of the holidays that are observed in Fiji is Diwali. And Diwali is the celebration of lights and is celebrated by many people who are Hindu. And, with Fiji having 43% of the population being Indian, of course, you have many people who are going to celebrate this. So for Diwali, people will will light up their houses, and when I mean light, I mean put candles in display to light up their houses and be festive. And they'll also sprinkle colored rice, which is known as rangoli, in these decorative patterns. Just make the whole house look very beautiful, very festive for the holidays. Of course, families will be with each other. They'll play with their relatives and hang out with them as well. And they'll eat food such as roti, curry, and they'll play with firecrackers as well, just to enjoy the holidays. So yeah. When I was in Fiji, I also had the opportunity to interview a person, and I will put her as the anonymous name of Sam. Now, I learned a lot from Sam. I learned how there is a lot of community that is involved in Fiji. So when I say that, when I worked in the kindergarten, I met a lot of moms, and that's because in Fiji, the mothers will go with their kids to the schools to help out, to support on one another. And it just creates a sense of openness where moms feel the sense that they can talk to anyone about anything. So it really brings a community into the kindergarten, into the school, I mean. And I also learned how diversity plays a huge role in the kindergarten. Like I said, yes, a lot of these kids are Fijian, but there are also kids who are Hindu, Muslim, and just other religions as well. So the teachers will encourage the kids to talk about their backgrounds, and they're encouraged to be kind to one another, regardless of where their families come from, regardless of how they look or what their ethnic background is. So I thought that was very interesting. Now, as far as my personal experience goes, I had a very fun time in Fiji, but I also learned a lot about the culture, about each and every one of the kids, but also the kids actually got to teach me about their culture and about their languages. They taught me how to do their traditional dances called mekes, which I really liked. And overall, I just had a really great time, and I would definitely go back there, as I made a huge impact on the community. And I'm very thankful to have had this experience because it was very, very unique.